So this matter of dreaming, it's circumstantial, because some people say, I don't dream. But you dream awake. It's like you see a nice picture of a sunset, and you say, oh, I wish I was there. I would like to be there. Huh? It happens? All right. So let's see. Okay, so let me read this verse. It says in Psalm 126:1, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. And I really cannot switch this. There must be a shortcut, but I don't know. So this was a psalm of people that were returning to a place that was the place of their forefathers. Many of them they lived all their life in a country which was like a foreign country. They lived as slaves, as low-skilled workers, no opportunities. And then through a miracle, God allows Nehemiah to rebuild the city of Jerusalem. And there's a number of Jews that return to Jerusalem. And as they return, they're coming to the place that they've heard about. But they never experimented that place. So when we have a dream of something, of doing something, or a vision, let's say you have a dream of owning your own business, you have a dream of having a family, you have a dream of restoring your marriage, you have a dream, different dreams, or you have a dream just to travel to a certain place, you have this dream of doing missions, you have this dream of doing this. It's a dream. And I don't know about you, but I have a shelf full of dreams in my life. So there's a number of things that I didn't accomplish yet, and that I wanted to do. You know, when the Lord called me to serve Him, I had this dream. I wanted to go deep into Russia, into Siberia and those regions. I wanted to go there and preach the gospel there. I never did it, but it's still in the back of my head. So I still remember that I had this dream. So it's a dream that it's on my shelf. So we have those dreams on the shelf. Now, suddenly, God starts a process with these folks, and they're returning to Jerusalem. It's a dream. It's a dream for the people, because they kept listening their parents since they were babies, saying, oh, Jerusalem, Israel, we live in this miserable Babylon land, and over there the water is better, and the ocean is so good, and the taste of the food is better. So they keep listening to these things, and they had this dream. So suddenly they're entering the dream, and that's when this psalm is written, honoring those folks and saying, they were like those that dream. Who are those that dream? We should all be those that dream as Christian. You know that? And so you have that slide there. The best dreams happen when you're awake. So because the dreams you have while you're sleeping, they can kind of pass. Okay. Then Acts, it says in the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. And on all people, your sons and daughters will prophesy, young men will see visions, and old men will dream dreams. So it's not just that dreams is just for old people, it's not that. But it's a promise, and we really don't know if this refers to spiritual maturity or age. So let's put it this way: it's never too late to dream. Never too late to dream. And when it says the old man will have dreams, it's harder for an older person to have a dream for their life, because they think it's game over. It's, I have 15 years, I have 20 years, I have, I know that because as I age, I understand now what this means and the promise, the power of this promise. Because usually, an old man will not have dreams, or an old woman. The dream they have, it's very limited. It's limited to basic needs and the place in the sun or something, and don't mess with me, I want just... But when the prophecy of Acts says this, it's really a call to everyone that we need still to have dreams. And so what I wanted to share just briefly with you today, it's that it's never too late to have dreams, and you should nourish your spirit and your soul with dreams. And your dream, it's always God's best for your life. So let me just share these 3 points quickly. A dream is a picture in your mind. So the Holy Spirit gives us dreams and visions. And some of you and some of us, I want to include myself, I dream a lot. So, but it's not just talking about dreams that we dream while we're asleep, but it's always God's best for your life. And what happens is you'll never see the dream clearly, but it will start. It will put things in motion. That's why you see the psalmist made a connection between two things. He said, when the Lord restored the exiles, it was like a dream. So there's a promise that there's a restoration and there's a dream. There's restoration and dreaming. So many of us, through different things that happen in life, we need to be restored. So let me ask you, how many of you need to be restored in your health, physical health? Okay, I see a lot of hands. We need to pray about that. And I'm not going to ask you to show your hand, but some of you lost your family, so you need a restoration in that area. Or you lost that job that you loved. You need restoration in that area. In your finances, family, health, ministry. God wants to give you His dream. So you can dream again. And that's what I wanted to tell you. And I like to pray with all of you, telling you that it's not only it's never too late to dream, but it's the work of the Holy Spirit to bring not only restoration in our life, but the capacity to dream again. You know, on Tuesdays we're doing a study with Lance Wallnau. It's very interesting, and I'm going to mention a few things that we learned last week, because I think it's so interesting. But let me tell you this concept, that when we establish a business, we usually need a business plan. So when this place was started as a convention center, it was called team meetings, réunion d'équipe, in the studio. I had to build a business plan. And with that business plan, then I opened a bank account and I planned things. And so everyone here that does a business, if you don't have a business plan, you need one. Because if there's no plan, you're not going to get anywhere. So in your personal life, I want to tell you that you need to have a plan, a personal plan. It's not a business plan, but it's this personal mission. And on your personal mission, you can say things like, I am free. I have abundance in every area of my life. I'm healed. I'm fruitful. And maybe you're not healed, and maybe you're not fruitful, but this is your personal business plan. And this one, it's easy to have. Then you can detail a few things. So when you have this dream, you're believing in the promises of God. And God is faithful, and we need to use our faith in order to achieve the plan for our life. And let me just skip a few things here. And this is my last Bible verse. Test all things. Hold fast to what is good. So we have disappointments. We have numerous things that can kill our dreams. But, hold fast to what is good. Is that okay? Does that sound a good Bible verse? So memorize it this week. Now, this next slide is my last slide. And this is what we've been learning on Tuesdays. And so this is a chapter in our life. So it's what happens in our life when we have a dream of something. So everything starts by a dream. And that's a stage of unconscious incompetence. So we have this dream, but we're incompetent. We don't know how to achieve it. And then after the dream, there's distress. So you have the dream, let's say, a new business. And you start it, and suddenly all your emotions go down because it's not working. You started something, and comes down, and then you realize you enter in the stage of conscious incompetence. So it's when you realize, I'm not fit for the job. I don't know how to do this. This is too much for me. I don't know how to achieve this. And then you start to develop your skills, to develop the things that you need, and it's a stage of conscious competence. This is when you need a coach, you need someone, you need friends, counselors, advisors, people that will help you to get to that place where you demonstrate the dream. And then it's a stage called unconscious competence. So you don't even think about it. You're on autopilot. You're good at what you do, and you know what you're doing, and that's fantastic. So in our life, we go through these chapters, and we learn with Lance Wall now that we go through this usually 4 times in our lifetime. I think I went like 10 times over this, and some people that I talked to, they told me the same thing. But I thought about putting this because I think it's so important for us to understand that when we have a disappointment, we shouldn't give up on our dream. We shouldn't give up on our dream. You know, this church is here, the Passion Center, because there's a vision of reaching Montreal and surroundings and South Shore for Christ, and doing something that nobody has ever done before, which is a church that will reach people that are not into church. And right now we're developing this dream. So it's not that we're there, not even near, but we're developing the dream. And so, with the prophetic, it's the same thing. God gives us a vision, and we will see the final thing. So God gives you a vision. God says, oh, I'm going to just open doors for you, and you're going to be blessed, and finances are going to come, and whatever is the promise. And so we're seeing the demonstration phase, but we don't see the valley we go through in order to get to the other place. And so many times we go through hell as we move into the promise of God. So it's very important that when we have dreams, that we don't give up on those dreams. If they were not demonstrated, it might be that you have to develop your life, and you have to go through the distress stage and through the point where you say, oh, I cannot do this. God gave me this dream to be a missionary, let's say in Nigeria, whatever. Because God gives different dreams. And you go there, you visit Nigeria, and you say, I could never live here. And then you start thinking about it. And if it's really God's dream, you'll do everything to get there. And then you'll be trained to go from conscious incompetence into a stage of competence. So, and this applies to everything in our life. So we can dream again, and maybe you have those dreams on the shelf. I have a number of dreams on my shelf, and I keep praying for some more than others, and I write them down. And some were dreams of things that I desired, and others were dreams that I literally had the dream, and I wrote the dream, and I know that God told me, this is going to happen in your life. The reason why I'm a Canadian, it's because I received a dream about Canada. And so I didn't came to Canada to get a better life or a better salary, my life was way better where I came from. And but we were sure, me and my wife, we were sure this is what we need to do, so let's go there. So at the time, I was doing crusades in Poland and in Sweden. So the Berlin Wall had fell, and we just left the church because God told us to pass into the other side. And so we were doing crusades in Europe, and And it was very exciting. We traveled with a tent, a circus tent, and a team of youth that assembled the tent, and we could seat 1,000 people. It was so exciting doing those crusades. I didn't speak the language, but it was a season. Everything looked like World War II had stopped. Europe was like this, Eastern Europe was unbelievable. It was so poor, so underdeveloped, and so we felt this urge, go there and preach. So we were there, and while we were there, God gave us a dream and a vision for Canada. And so it took us a while, because I said, I go to Canada, but I'm not going to go as a refugee, no, I need to go with the papers, legal papers. So it took me a year and a half. And when they knew I was a pastor, they said, you will never enter into Canada. That's what the officer of immigration told me. You're a pastor, you'll never get these documents. And so they put me, to the end of the line, and they tried to do everything to jeopardize that. But it was a dream. So I did spiritual warfare every day. I fasted. And so finally, this was like 20-something, almost 30 years ago, something happened, and I believe it was my prayers. They found corruption in the embassy, in the Canadian embassy. And so they removed not only the ambassador, but the consul, and all those workers that told me, you will never go to Canada. And so they placed a new ambassador. And somehow, I believe it's prayer, my process fell into his desk. And he read it. And they called me from the embassy. And they apologized. And they said, we're so sorry for what happened. This should never happen. So I entered Canada with a special document signed by the ambassador, with a special request to become a Canadian resident. And so, even if everything seems to be going in the opposite way, when God gives you a dream, I was in this stage. I had no house. I sold my house. I had a nice house, overseeing the sea. It was a beautiful place, brand new house, close to a resort area. It's like the nice areas of Florida. So I had this beautiful house that I sold. I gave away my furniture to pastors, my appliances to other pastors. I just gave everything away, and I lived almost a year with suitcases and trying to find a place where to stay with some small kids. But I knew the Lord called me to Canada. I'm just sharing this from my heart. It's just a personal experience. Because certain things are dreams that are in the back of your head. Others will change your life. It's a radical change. It's a complete change. And so God requires obedience. That's number one, to achieve the dreams. And when we're in that stage that we're in distress, because it's like our heart is broken, because God gives a dream, and it's not easy. It's like Jesus said, go to the other side, and they face a storm in the middle of the lake or of that sea. And so I want just to encourage and tell you, if you're going through these stages, it's very important that you have people. You see the guy with the umbrella, that you have people that help you to get there and to achieve the things that God called you to do, that you'll achieve your dream. So if you find this interesting, so we're learning this on Tuesdays, not what I talked before, but I felt to integrate a little bit of what we're learning midweek, so it will be of some help to some of you. So never think that because your heart is broken, that your life is over. It's like that person that, you built your life in order to have a family. And now suddenly some of you've lost your family, different circumstances. And some of you really painful and hurtful circumstances. This doesn't mean that you cannot pursue that dream. you can pursue that dream. So pray to God, and if that's the will of God for you, do it right this next time. Do it right. Do things in a proper way. And when you do things right, God will always bless you. Let us all stand, and I want to pray for you. And I would like to, I don't know why my computer messed up today, but that's fine. But I'd like to pray that God will restore dreams, and that God will enable you to achieve also your dreams. And let me tell you, when you're at the right time, doing the right thing, it's fantastic. If you do the right thing at the right time, it's like, how many of you played with a yo-yo? All right. Is it a complicated thing? Huh? Would you like to have the patent of the yo-yo? Huh? Each yo-yo sold, you will receive like a penny or 10 cents. Wouldn't that be nice? You see the cups that you have there? It's done, those paper cups. There's a company called Tetra Pak. They receive royalties for every single cup and milk carton done in the world. It doesn't matter where it's manufactured. They receive a royalty for every milk carton, for every paper cup. That company, usually it says there Tetra Pak. If it's well built, you'll see it. Even if they do it, I don't know, in Indonesia, they need to pay royalties for every single cup to that company. Why? Because this person had this idea, I'm going to do cups in paper. And for us, it's common. But because this person achieved that dream, he had the patent. Let me tell you, you have the patent for your own dream. It's unique. It's unique. And this can result in blessing, in financial blessing, in other kinds of blessings. I'm more interested in family blessings than financial blessings. Some people are interested in money. I'm interested in seeing, my family blessed and my children blessed, and that satisfies me more than any money or wealth. Doing ministry satisfies me more. So that's my personal thing. How about you? Think about this. What is, motivating you? And so if you have the wrong motivations, switch them to the right motivations and believe that God is able to do way more than what you ask or think. So let me pray for you that God will restore your